What's up, YouTube? Just took a shower. Uh, Merry Christmas. It is the 23rd. Yep, December 23rd, 2020. I just did a couple of videos on a Bible teaching. If you guys are interested, go ahead and look that up. Scroll through my list of videos. You'll see it. There's two of them. It's two parts. It's part one and part two. It's the same exact thing, just two different videos. But it's really just one video is cut in half. YouTube, I think the algorithm just automatically, or my phone did that or something, I don't know. But it's the same video. And I think I titled it Salvation Through Baptism, because it's a topic of baptism. But what got me thinking about what I'm talking about now is, as you guys see the title, Strengthen Your Feeble Arms and Weak Knees. All right, so brief thing about me. I was born May 11th, 1967, right in the middle of the height of the Vietnam War. You know, I was born in Los Angeles, so the war was going on. That was a crazy time. I can only imagine. I wasn't there. I was just being born. So grew up in Los Angeles, joined the California Cadet Corps at Mount Vernon Junior High School. Then we moved, me and my mom, to Hollywood, and I went and joined the California Cadet Corps for my 9th grade year over there at Bancroft Junior High School under Commandant Captain Connolly. Really good dude. And I was sent to, I had an opportunity. It wasn't like I was sent. We had to get parental permission slip signed to go on a field trip to Camp Pendleton, California for a leadership course, which lasted 3 days. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, back to work, back to school on Monday. So it was a lot of fun. We stayed in the Quonset huts, and here we are, 13 years old or something like that, 9th graders, and we're in our uniforms and we're running around this Camp Pendleton base, and we stayed we're at School of Infantry, and so boot camp was being conducted, and the Marines, the recruits, were going through infantry training and all that part of the boot camp back then, which is how they did it back then. So we were alongside these Marines watching them do our thing. We were doing our thing, which was leadership training, and it was just classroom, and we got to eat in the Marine Corps Chow Hall, and it was cool. 13-year-old 9th graders, we were loving it. 8th graders and 9th graders, you couldn't go unless you were 8th graders and 9th graders. 7th graders weren't allowed to go. 8th graders and 9th graders were allowed to go. So while we were there, we got to do push-ups. We marched, the typical stuff. But we were kids. But I saw the Marines, the recruits, and the Marines. There was Marines and then there was recruits doing exercises, running, doing the obstacle course, pull-ups, push-ups, dips, climbing the rope, hopping over barriers, and crawling through the mud. And they were doing all these cool things. And I was wowed, like, wow, look at this. So I got into this whole push-up thing, man. I was doing push-ups, and then being in the Cadet Corps, it was like, oh, you screwed up, do 10 push-ups, right? That was always the thing. But I liked push-ups. So I got to where push-ups were my favorite exercise. They still are. And by the way, for the record, just to throw this out there, after that leadership school, it was a state-sponsored thing through the military. The Camp Pendleton Marines allowed the California Cadet Corps to have their leadership training there. California Cadet Corps it's still around, and it's through the state of California, and it's this militaristic cadet corps program for people who are interested in military type studies and the discipline, and but it's for middle school, 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. And I liked it. It was fun. You wear a little uniform. They had like a khaki uniform, and you learn core values, leadership, integrity, good study habits for school. And so some of the things they taught as for us cadets through the leadership was leadership, right? That was one of the core values, is leadership. All the different things that encompass leadership and what a leader is, what a leader does, how a leader should think. And so at the leadership school, we got this really good instruction from senior leaders and former retired Army guys and sergeant majors and captains and lieutenants and so forth that were in charge of the Cadet Corps program. These adult instructors who were former military or retired military who ran the entire state program. And so you had like hundreds of us from Sacramento, San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles, all these different schools that had the California Cadet Corps program. Stockton, California, Fresno, California, the whole entire state of California sent students. So from my school, Bancroft, I think like 10 of us went. Only like 10 of us went. Not that many. We had like 50 cadets, 60 cadets maybe at that school, but only like 10 of us went to the school or so. And I was excited. I was having a good time. So after 3 days of this leadership training, the last day, Sunday morning, you get an exam, like a final exam of all the stuff you covered. Well, through Commandant Franklin from Mount Vernon Junior High School, he had the California Cadet Corps study guide. And so he quizzed us and drilled us on the stuff in that book all the time. We had to learn it. He's constantly calling us out to learn what was the information in that book. That served me well. Because when we went to this, I remembered that stuff, right? Because we heard it every day. Well, when I went to the California, to the leadership school I'm representing Bancroft Junior High School. But again, in the 8th grade, I was at Mount Vernon Junior High School learning from the book, from that actual text. And it was great because it was pounded into us. Franklin was just being a good teacher, a good commandant. He didn't have a military background. He went to USC and played football. He was a good running back, Mr. Franklin. I forget his first name, but Mr. Franklin was a great guy, and he was our commandant. So he had the job of being in charge of the Cadet Corps. He didn't know anything about military, so he got that book from the California Cadet Corps headquarters, and he studied it, and then he made us study it so he could say, this is what they're expecting of you guys. It had leadership, it had how to wear the uniform, it had saluting and all that. Well, all those values and systems that were in that book, you study it. He had us in group study, which is, man, I highly recommend it, because here's the point. Knowing what I knew when I went to the new school, Bancroft, we didn't study from that book. We just did our daily routine, whatever it was. But I still remembered all that stuff. And when I went to leadership school at Camp Pendleton, they re-emphasize it. They go over it, and it's all the same material that was in the book. But they just stress it, and then they give you practical, and you get lecture, and like again from these retired soldiers and retired sergeants majors and former captains and lieutenants of the United States Army and United States military period, Navy, Marines, all that kind of. They were all the chief instructors. So I remember Commandant Connolly said he couldn't make it. Our commandant from Bancroft wasn't able to go, but he was like, if you guys want to go, it's free. You're gonna eat chow. You just gotta have a parental permission slip. We all met at the school, and they took us on a bus. It was so much fun. So we took the final exam on Sunday, and they Scantron tested you afterwards. So it was like multiple choice, right? A, B, C, D, and you have a Scantron sheet. Now, when we were done, they collect up all the Scantron sheets, and they take them to the office, and they, scan them through the thing to grade true and false, whatever the right and wrong kind of answers. And then there was, I'm going to say, hundreds, I don't know, maybe 300-400 student cadets from all across the country, the state, California, all across the state that were there. I don't remember exactly, but it was several hundred, 300 to 400 of us, because they had us billeted in all these, Quonset huts that the Marine recruits would have used, but they were available for whatever reason, and we used those. They're all old, and we had little bunks. We issued the blankets. We were, 9th graders, and we're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, going to the chow hall, and we're like, yeah, this is just so much fun. We got up, it was still dark out, a lot of fun. And we had troop handlers, and it was just cool to be able to see the Marines and the recruits doing their live active duty training. And we were like, man, check that out, those are real Marines. So when they graded the test, and I remember when I took the test, when I was actually, because it was like an hour and a half exam, they give you a lot of time to do it, but it was a lot of questions, like 120 questions or something like that, 125 questions for a 9th grader. That was a lot of questions. So we're done. And when we're done, I remember when I was taking the test, I was like, wow, I know that. And well, I know that, oh, I know that. I studied that before. And I knew him from the book from Mr. Franklin, a commandant from Mount Vernon. And plus, they cover a lot of it over those 2-3 days that we're there, because we got there Friday morning, and then you take your exam Sunday and you leave. So it was like you get to spend Friday night and Saturday night, and then Sunday you go back. Sunday we left. Sunday afternoon we left Camp Pendleton like 4:30, so we still had the whole day. We get to see the Marines do their thing, and then you go to school on Monday. Well, I remember I was just like, okay, cool, whatever. I didn't expect anything. I wasn't the world's greatest student in school, high school, junior high, whatever. My grades were not great. So I always had this thing that I'm not a good student. That's what I thought. I believe you believe as you are. How you believe is how you are. So that's what I thought. How wrong was I? I was a good student. Everybody, you guys are good students. We're all good students. It's what you choose to focus on. This was my first lesson in believing in myself, which was like, hey, I can do this, or man, I didn't know that, which basically was that this. Out of those 400 students, cadets from all across the state of California, up and down the state, and these are all ranking cadets. I think I was an E5, uh, cadet sergeant, E5, nothing. It was, it's significant, but you guys, it's like private first class, and they had corporal and then sergeant, cadet, but there was like captains there, majors, cadet major, cadet, captain, cadet sergeant major, cadet master sergeant. Those are high ranking students, and they had good grades, and that's where they were able to promote. So I was like, okay, here's the deal. I just felt like real confident. I don't know, that I took that exam. I was like, man, I felt really good about it. And there was this one cadet there. It was a really cool kid, this Mexican kid. He was my partner, like my bunkmate, kind of. I was like, hey man, let's pal up. We palled up, and he was from another school. And like again, they separated us into barracks. So I didn't have any of the guys in my barracks from my school. They separated us, and we integrated that way. It was cool. So me and him palled around for those 3 days, and afterwards I was like, all right, whatever. And then we go, and there's more classes and training, and then we get to go outside, and you go to lunch. And after lunch we came back, and they read off the top 3 for the state, because I guess it was a big deal. Like leadership school, they held it every year, and then the top 3 cadets get an award, a trophy. You get a plaque or something like that. And so they read off the top 3 cadets. We're going to call out your name. You guys are the top 3 who scored highest for the state of California. And I am telling you, I did not expect to be called. And that's, again, I was like, all right, whatever. I didn't get no awards back then. I wasn't getting no kind of trophies or awards, nothing back then. I was not a good student, as I believed, but I was a good student. I just thought I wasn't a good student. We're all good students. We all are. Believe in yourself. God made you. You're good. So they called off whatever school. It was middle school. It's all junior high, middle school, 7th, 8th, and back then it was 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. Now I don't know how they do it, but middle school back then was 7th grade, 8th grade, and 9th grade. They called off this 3rd place guy, and he got a trophy. So they called out his name, cadet, and he was a high-ranking guy, cadet master sergeant, blah blah blah, from such and such a school. He was a 9th grader like me, and they said, come up and get your award. He came up there, and he grabbed his award, and he stood there on the stage, and they shook hands, and stand right there, and he was like all excited. We all clapped. And then they said, 2nd place out of the whole state of California, with a score of, and they read off the scores. Now the guy, his score was whatever, and then they read off, and they said, from Bancroft Junior High, which is my school. And I was like, oh wow, one of our guys got it. One of our guys got it. There's only like 10 of us from my school. I was like, wow, I wonder who it is. Is it McIver? Is it Orabau, or what was his name? I forgot all these guys' names, but they were like, my buddies and fellow cadets. And so they go, Cadet Sergeant Calhoun. And I was like, oh, and it hit me like, oh, that's me. And then I was like, and my buddy, the guy, my road dog, was like, that's you, bro. Get up there. And I was like, no way, man. And so I'm like, I gotta, have military bearing. You gotta I walk up there, professionally, military style, get up on the stage and take my award. And I was like, wow, it said second place, Cadet Sergeant Calhoun, Bancroft Junior High School. This was like in 1982 or 83, 82 or 83. I don't remember, but it was one of those 2 years, 82 or 83. And I was like, I did first. That was literally the first award or trophy or acknowledgement in school up until that point in my life that I'd ever received. Other than getting a gold star when you're in elementary or whatever. That's, you don't remember that. But as far as athletic stuff or trophies, and I didn't get any of that. That was and academics. No, that was the first, and I got second place in the entire state of California. Oh man, it was a beautiful feeling. I'm thinking about it now, and I recount it, and it feels good just thinking about it because I was like, man, it just felt so good, and I was so proud of myself. And then they called off the first place cadet, and for whatever school she was from, I remember she was from up north. The girl, it was a girl. She was from up north, and she was a captain, a cadet captain. She was like a company commander. She was a captain. And matter of fact, she was because we all spoke, me, her, and the other guy. She was a 4.0 student from her school, good student, and she was sharp as a tack, man. And Mexican girl, I remember she was Hispanic, and she got first place, and she was, like I said, a 4.0 student in her school, and we talked and everything, and briefly, like, we all shook hands, we all took a group shot and everything. They took a picture and put us in this magazine, whatever that magazine was, California Cadet Corps magazine. And I remember, this is another thing I remember, she beat me by 1 point, and she was a 4.0 student, and I was not. I was like, if I was a 2.0 student, if maybe I was at 1.9, I wasn't a good student. I was, but I didn't believe. And now I know the difference. What you focus on is what comes to pass to be real. Believe and it happens. Believe and you achieve. Like the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. But the third place guy, I beat him by like 3 points. And he was a master sergeant. He was a E6 in the California Cadet Corps master sergeant, right? E6. I beat that guy by 3 points. So it was all pretty close. But I beat that guy by 3 points, and the girl who got first place only beat me by 1 point. And I just was like, man, it was such a eye-opening awakening for me to go, I can do things. I can do this. I didn't have the support at home for that kind of mental belief that because I had a tough home life. There was a lot of, my mom was going through some difficult times and a tough marriage, and there was my stepfather, alcoholism, and all these difficult things. So I didn't have support. My real dad wasn't around, and he was living in Texas, and he was sick. He had cancer. It's not his fault. He was dealing with stuff. I didn't even know he was sick. I was too young. And so he wasn't in my life at that time. My stepdad was a raving alcoholic, and lack of a better term, he's just a jerk at that time. My mom was emotional and suffering, and she worked. She paid bills. She did her best. She put clothes on my back. She put food on my back. So I love my mom. But I just was never given what a dad gives a son, or, that attention and go, yeah, you can do it. I believe in you. Let's go to Little League. And, so I just was like, I'm not a good student. And I just expected to go home and be told to go to my room and shut up and clean up your room and take out the trash and get yelled at. That was it. Because that's the kind of home life I had. It was bad. Violence and alcoholism. I didn't ever wanted to smoke. Everybody smoked. I never wanted to smoke. Even though people were like, oh, wow, you grew up around it, that means you want to become that. No. My mom she suffered physical violence under the domestic violence from my stepfather. I've never hit a woman. Never. I'm 54, 53. I'm 53. Never. How they say, oh, yeah, you're a product of that, so therefore, not me, buddy. Never wanted to hit a woman. Never wanted to smoke cigarettes. I drank beer, so I don't know. Those are the Marines. What are you going to do? Anyways, the whole idea was, it's funny. This video, when I was going to put this up, and I still will, the focus was strength training through push-ups, because the Bible reminded me about Hebrews 12:12, strengthen your feeble arms and weak knees. Look that up. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 12. Strengthen your feeble arms and your weak knees. Check that out. That's a physical command in the Bible to take care of yourself physically as well as take care of yourself spiritually. So it's like saying, don't be a Christians aren't weak. Jesus was a carpenter, hammering nails and building stuff. Jesus walking from here to there, back in the long. He was not lazy, not weak, very physical. All right, so strengthen your feeble arms and weak knees. And it led me to think about the push-ups that we used to do in the cadet corps. I was in ninth grade, 12, 13 years old, doing push-ups like, yeah, this is cool, military. I was all into it. And then I thought about that story about getting second place. And then that trophy that we all got a plaque. Everybody got a plaque that won, the top 3 guys. So I took that plaque and had my name on it and everything. I guess they engraved it right then and there. It was amazing because they graded it. They graded us, and then we came back and those plaques were there. They gave us a plaque, so they engraved it. During that time, I just couldn't believe it, man. And I'm telling you, it was like, wow. My friend, the buddy, he was like, man, you got one. You're good. So when it was all said and done, we take the bus back home. The word, either through the other cadets or I don't know how the word got out. Maybe the other commandants called Commander Connolly and said, congrats, one of your students is, Sierra Hotel. Look that up. It's a military thing. Sierra Hotel, meaning I was hot, S hot. Figure it out. So Monday morning, I go to school, and Commander Connolly is there. And I remember Sunday night, I was telling my mom, look, I got this trophy and everything. And she was like, oh, yeah. My mom was into the military. So she was like, oh, that's great. Good. And get good grades on your report cards. She was like, yeah. It's just, nothing against my mom, because I love my mom. But it's just the way it was. It's the way it was. But I was excited, and I kept it in my room. And so then when I go to school Monday morning, Commander Connolly's like, it's like, I'm just thinking nothing of it. I just go to his class, and one of those classes was cadet corps. One of them was English and math. You go through your thing, and then I have to go to cadet corps class. It's 1 hour. He's like, dude, tell me what happened. And I was like, and he's like, get up in front of the classroom. I want you to talk about, because most of the students didn't go. Most of the cadets that were there didn't go. Like I said, there was like, I'm going to say more than 60, because it was like so many periods, first period, second period. It was like 4 or 5 periods, because we had a company. There might have been 85, 95 cadets, something like that. Not a lot. It wasn't a lot of us. That ROTC stuff, that is not that popular. So there was maybe about 75, 85 of us, not many, throughout the whole school. And in that particular class, there was probably 30, classroom full of 25, 30 guys in there, girls and guys. And Commander Connolly says, get up here and tell us what happened. And he's like, Cadet Sergeant Calhoun got second place in the state, and clapping. I was like, dude, it was overwhelming. And I'm telling you, you guys may think it's funny, but that's the first time I was ever publicly acknowledged by anything, any time, anywhere in my life at that time. So it was overwhelming to me, and it was nothing when you look at but all those little things matter. It builds your self-esteem and all that. But I was like, whoa, man, I was like, I had to talk in front of the group, and he's like, tell us what. I was like, well, we went through this training, and I was like, so-and-so was there, and they're like, no, this is about you. And so he's like, and I was like, yeah. And then we took the exam, and they called my name out. I got second place. And he's like, yeah, and I heard you almost beat and I go, yeah, she was a cadet captain. He goes, oh, that girl is sharp as a tack. And he knew who she was. She was like a big shot, because she was a captain, So she was like a well-known, like a company commander or something, executive officer of the whole thing. She was up there in the California cadet structure of that stuff. When it was all said and done, it was just nice, man. And Commander Connolly is like, where's the trophy? And I go, oh, it's at home. I mean, I don't know, like it's in my bedroom. And he goes, could you bring it to class? Could you bring it to the school? He goes, if it's okay with you. He was asking my permission. He's like, because it's yours. He's like, but if you want to donate it to the school, we can put it up in the school's like display case that shows any academic awards or athletics, stuff like that for the school as a historical account of the school's record of academic student excellence. And I was like, all right, of course, I wanted to keep it for myself, but I was like, that's kind of cool to be enshrined in that way, put it up there. So I was like, all right, I'm down for that, and I brought it the next day. And he at first, that first day, he put it up in the classroom and talked about it. And then he made me get up there again, like, talk about this. And I did. And he's like, he was so proud. Commander Connolly, captain, he was commandant. He was our commandant, but he was a captain. He was pleased as punch because it reflects him, And he was just like, man, I remember how he was like he was blown away. He was blown away. And it blew me the whole experience blew me away too. And then I left it there, and to this day, that I don't know, that plaque is probably still there. Here we are in 2020. That school is still there, so I don't know. And I don't even know if they have a cadet corps anymore, because a lot of the military little like ROTC programs and cadet corps programs have dissolved. I heard that Obama did away with a lot of them. I don't know why. I think it's such a good it was such a good thing to develop young men and women, the character, groom them for Naval Academy, West Point, stuff like that, and just give them a taste of what maybe they want to go into the military. Maybe they want to be a welder. Maybe they want to be a nurse. Maybe they want to be a doctor. Maybe they want to go play professional football, professional baseball. But give them the options: the military option, the Navy, the Marines, the Army, the Air Force, the Coast Guard. But don't just remove all aspects, because the military is very necessary in the United States, and it's almost like they're trying to erase it from the minds of the kids, the middle school and high schoolers, which ROTC was a big deal back in the 80s, and I heard it's gone now. I heard most of the schools in California, ROTC has been like, phew, and that sort of thing. I don't know for sure. That's sad to me, but especially from the good experiences and memories that I had. Because after that, I went to Fairfax High School, and I joined the Army ROTC program there, and I did 3 years, and I learned land navigation. We went to Fort Ord for a week every year, like for a spring break for like 5 days. You get to run around with the Army and push-ups and all that stuff. Eat in the chow hall and shoot. We got to shoot the AR-15, the M16, and the M60 machine gun, and we got classes from real soldiers, and the leadership training. It was ROTC, Reserved Officers Training Corps. That's what ROTC stands for, Reserve Officers Training Corps. So you're being trained to be an officer. You're getting officers training, reserve officers training. When that was done, I joined the Marines. I was 17, joined the Marines, and I actually got meritorious promotion out of boot camp, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that those drills and marches from the ROTC helped, because the recruiter was like, you're guaranteed to promote meritoriously. It's part of your contract. You're going to get out of boot camp. You're going to be a private first class. You start off not just E1. You start off as an E2. You get a little pay jump and a little bit of you get a stripe. But I was also a squad leader in boot camp, so you have the option. You have the opportunity to be meritoriously promoted for your merits in boot camp too. I don't know, like, on boot camp you get fired. You're fired, and you're squad leader again, and that happened to me too. So either way, I was guaranteed to get meritorious promotion, and I was glad for that. So ultimately, let me get back to the whole point of this: is physical strength training through push-ups. Like, strength training is one of my focuses. I studied that in college at Trade Tech. I studied it in the Marine Corps. I studied it in the Army, ROTC. We did push-ups there. Push-ups are my favorite exercise. I like dips. There's a lot of things. I like weight training. I like pull-ups for strength training. There's a lot of things you can do, but I'm going to do some videos of me doing my strength training routine. Now, the strength training, and then there's strength and conditioning. There's two different things. So you'll look at the NFL, they have strength and conditioning coaches. It's two different things, strength and then conditioning. Conditioning is, your endurance, being in condition, healthy, eating right, how you do your VO2 max, how you maximize your volume of oxygen level in your body. VO2 max is part of your conditioning. Uh, Training at higher elevations like boxers do and stuff like that, Olympic athletes, conditioning and like running, calisthenics, jumping jacks, that's conditioning. But strength training, they go hand in hand, strength and conditioning. So that's one of my focuses in college. Kinesiology it quickly became really my major. So I studied more of that than just about anything else. I took biology. I took strength and conditioning. I took body what was it, body conditioning or something like that. But it was all kinesiology. Um, and we had to create workout programs. I took strength training over at Rio Hondo. I took what else? I took so many of those classes, man. I swear. But anyway, that again, I majored in kinesiology and art, like art history. That was one of my focuses there. I took drawing, college drawing, painting, art history 1, art history 2, and I was studying. As a really cool course. Uh, but when it comes to strength training, push-ups are my favorite exercise. Dips are right there, right behind it. Um, Dumbbell, I love doing dumbbell work, kettlebell work, good stuff. So strengthen your feeble arms and knees. And now that I'm older, I'm 53, going into 2021, I'm going to be 54. I'm still in pretty good shape for a guy of my age, but I got to step up my game. My knees are bothering me, especially my right knee. And it's from military training and years and stuff of being in the military, jumping off of trucks in the artillery field. And man, I got banged up a lot, man. Very physical in the military, very physical stuff. Deployments overseas, jungle training, and running around with all your crap on your pack and your helmet, and your rifle, and all that. And it takes a toll on the body. And martial arts training, I did a lot of martial arts training, so that it dinged me up a little bit, and I can feel it and at my back. So in order to slow down the aging process, strength and conditioning. So I'm going to do a lot more videos because this motivates me to do more videos and demonstrate what I do know. And then getting feedback from you guys helps a lot too. So uh, let's encourage one another. All right. So check out Hebrews 12:12. Strengthen your feeble arms and knees. And then get after it, man. 53-year-old muscle right here. Do those push-ups. Do those push-ups and do those dips. And then get them shoulders engaged, man. I'm gonna show you guys. This is just a talking point, but these videos, I'm gonna start doing some training videos, man. You guys will see. So thanks for watching, everybody. And Hebrews 12:12, strengthen those feeble arms and knees. This is Staff Sergeant Calhoun from Whittier. Peace and love. Jesus is Lord. Thank you, guys. Peace.